It's always a pleasure for my guests to return to the show. It's always a pleasure to know that they have new music. It's been a minute since he's been back on the show, but between that time, I've loved to see him on the screen with another friend of the show, Kenyon Dixon. I love hearing him. He has this beautiful EP called Fly Away. Welcome back, Tave. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm so good. Thank you so much. I'm good. That was a great intro, by the way. Thank you.
Short and sweet and so authentic. Tave, so this EP that you have, I love it.
Yeah.
And before we were going to get on, I was like, I can't pick my favorite because I love all of the songs. I want to know
Wow.
how was putting this project together, because I think that when we talked, you were in the process of like gathering it together.
Yeah.
How was this
Yeah.
process just putting Fly Away together?
It's the first time I've ever done a project. So
Yeah.
it was so amazing to be fair with you now that it's done. But in the midst of it because of how passionate I was about doing it, it had its ups and downs. It had its moments where I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to get it done. And it had this, but, just being real and hearing stories of other people that's done it. These are just kind of common things that happen along the journey of trying to do something for the first time, right?
Yeah.
So it was such a blessing. I knew that it was purpose driven, so there was no way I wasn't going to not do it. And I also didn't put myself on a timeline in terms of like it has to be done by whenever it needs to be done. It was one of those things like when the right time is, when the right time comes, I will know that we have the body of work. So I was literally just working and just working and working and working and building until I was like, I think I have a project. And
Yeah.
so once I realized that, it was just like, okay, now let's make it work and try and really put it together. So it was great. It was a great process, and I'm looking forward to doing more of that. So it was great.
You're multifaceted, multi-talented. Putting this project together, what did you learn about you?
I learned I have more patience than I thought I had. That's one thing I definitely learned. I learned grace actually. I learned that like in collaboration, you need to give other people grace because it's not just
Mhm.
about you. There's other people involved. I learned how important it is to have a team, not just the team on the like business side, but on the creative side. Um, as creatives, our timelines are all different, so it's a matter of finding that right space when everybody else has got that right space, and
Mhm.
not being like, I've just learned a level of grace that I know I didn't have before. I would have been like, oh, this person's too busy, forget them, or forget this, forget that. But I learned to just, give people grace when they've got the time. There's so much going on in the world right now. And so that was one of the biggest things that I learned is just giving people grace. And I carry that now, even after, like just, I realize how important that is.
Yeah, I want to get into this project because I have so many questions on all my favorite songs.
Okay.
Let's start. Let's
Okay.
start with the title track, "Fly Away." You did that with
Yeah.
Tia Gordon. Who is
I
Tia
did.
Gordon, and how did you guys connect?
Tia Gordon is an amazing artist from the UK. I thought I had finished the project, to be fair with you. And I spoke to my label and they were just like, yo, you don't have a UK artist on this project, it's all US artists. And I was like, yeah, because I'm basically in the US. I was living in the US mostly at that time. And so that's where all my connects were. I didn't really have any UK connections like that. And so one of the guys from my label, he actually manages Tia. And so they sent me a bunch of artists, but for some reason, Tia just stood out just so much. And I was just like, well, when I'm in London in March, and that was this year, I was like, let's just get together. Because her voice, as soon as I heard her voice, I was like, I think I've got a record for her. Like that, I just think it will suit her. And so when I met her, we just was in the studio for like 4 hours just chatting and just getting to know each other and just talking about life and everything. And then, it got to the point where we only had 2 hours left in the session.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, I guess we should just like play some ideas. And so I really had like a bunch of ideas, but the first one that I played her, she was just stuck with it. So she basically didn't even hear the rest of them. And so the first one was Fly Away. And so because of the conversation that we had about, you know, love and just life and just joy and stuff like that, it kind of just went so organically and naturally into her just coming up with the melodies, and it was just like going back and forth. And she literally wrote it in like 30 minutes. So
Wow.
it,
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. This project, I love that it's no skips, right? Top to bottom. I love
I love
that
that.
because you started with, you know, Difference Now and No More Maybes. Look,
Right.
that was fire already, and then you added these other songs. You know, um, so the next people I would love, like, I would love to know. Let's see who I want to talk about next. One of my favorites. They're all my favorites, but they're friend of the shows. Eric Bellinger. I had to
Yeah.
go back and listen to the words to us because I'm like, is this a wedding song? Because I feel melancholy. I feel deep. I feel like if I had a drink, if my heart was broken, I need to hear this song. How, like you and
Right.
Eric Bellinger in the studio, because he's another talented, multifaceted person. Tell
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
about that connection, you and Eric,
Wow.
and being on this project.
Yeah, so I've been a fan of Eric's for a long time as a writer, from like what he's done with Usher and Chris Brown, and to himself and just his own talent. So he's been on my target list in general just to work with, not personally for myself, because at the time I wasn't even working on a project. I just was like, this guy's so dope, right? But it just happened that he signed to a label, and I just was working with one of the label reps at the time, her name Michelle Bell. And like, she was like, you should work with Eric. And I was just like, I would love to work with Eric. And she basically just lined it up when I was in LA, and like, we just got in a session. And again, conversation, we were speaking like as the first time I met him. I'm not one to just get in sessions and just start working. It's really about vulnerability, conversations, and like just the core of the art. And you know that you really want to talk back. Like he comes back from church, I come back from church, so we had that commonality right there. We could speak about that and emotions and what it was like growing up in that. And so we got to talking about just like relationships, and like at the time my heart was broken. He'd understood about that. He heard the record. He made it just go like, you know, hand in hand. And it was just like, it's just really a grown up breakup song, you know, like in the nicest possible way. It doesn't even really have like a verse chorus per se. It's just a story from the top to the bottom. You know, we just didn't want to make it the norm.
What's that line? You don't walk by me and shake your ass no more. I said,
right. I
wait a
mean,
minute.
how honest is that? You know what I'm saying? Like we've all been through that. We've all been
Yeah.
through it. So like when he was writing the bars, literally because he was recording himself and just had a mic and was literally doing it like that. And I was just like, bro, you going crazy over here. Like you keeping it 100 with this one. And so like I even went back and did more production after he did that, because I just felt the emotions. So I had to get the strings in it at the end and be like, let me tell the story through the strings at the end, because like what he just did, it needs to be rounded off in such a classy kind of classic way. And so that's why I got the strings on it in the end at the same time. So yeah, yeah,
love that song.
yeah,
Another song. Let me tell you the one that caught me off guard. Trinity with Molly Music and Corey Henry. The melodies that I was like, oh my goodness, because Molly's fire. I'm not familiar with Corey Henry, but you know, I had to go a deeper dive in him. I want to talk about this Trinity song because when you talk about that church and them chords and the melodies and the riffs, mind blowing, mind
yeah.
blowing.
I mean, again, this project is a vibrational journal
Yeah,
of what I was through throughout the whole project, basically. So again, it was around the same time with Mali. That song I wrote after I decided that I was not going to talk to my ex ever again. I, I tried, like
yeah.
I was like still trying to reach out. She's still trying to be a better guy, still trying to be like, yo. And then it got to a point where I was just like, you know what? just move on, bro. Like, it's done. Like, it's gonna be better for her. It's gonna be better for you.
Yeah.
Just keep it a buck. And so that song, I saw her that day, and it was like when I got to the piano because I was in the Airbnb, and I just sat by the piano and I just started playing. So that song just started with just piano, and I was literally playing and crying at the same time. And I was like, "What is this? I need to record this. I need to just start recording it on my phone." And then I had it for a while, that song, actually. I just didn't know what to do with it because it just, every time I heard it, it just brought back that moment. And I was just like, oh, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. And I also didn't know who I could get to sing on it. But then I was like, I wanted a gospel song on the record coming from church. Yeah. I didn't really be fully gospel. I just wanted to have gospel elements of it. And then, you know, I'd known Mali, but I didn't know him. I had his number. We hung out once or twice, and he did one of my events as well. He sang at one of my events. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to just send him the song and just see what he comes up with, see if he responds, or, you know, because you never know with artists. Sometimes they feel like responding, sometimes they don't, right? He responded like 3 weeks later with just like tear emojis, right? He was like, yo, this song, I just need a second. I need a second. And so when he did, he sent me something back. No, in fact, he sent me a message first saying, I don't know what to write. Do you have any ideas? And I was like, bro, I want you to tap into what you hear, pull from your source, and do what you do. Right? And he was like, well, I just feel like I can't do anything wrong with this song because it's just touching me so much. So he sent it back to me. He said, bro, I'm crying. I was literally crying while I was writing this song. And when I heard it, I was like, bro, we were both crying basically on the phone when we put that song together. And so, yeah, it was just one of those things. I was super vulnerable making it, and he was super vulnerable writing it. And it just went so handy because I didn't tell him about my situation. He just pulled from the vibration that I played. And that was one of the reasons that made me, even for the rest of the project, made me realize how being vulnerable and real vibration is. And as a musician, coming from church as well, you know, you learn how to play in a certain way that if you play this chord, it might make you feel that way. And so it was just something that I learned to tap into. And so with Trinity, I just heard it. And then because Corey's an amazing organ player and artist in general, I could only hear him playing organ in it. And Corey's been my friend for like 15 years. So I just was like, yo, bro, can you just throw some organ on this for me? And he came over to the studio when I was in LA. And he just played it, and I was just like, "Yo, that is what it needed."
Yeah.
Awesome. This is awesome.
Very awesome. So, as a creative, and when you're in producer mode, going with your gut, like what the energy and the vibe, like the direction. How do you kind of go? Let me go with the gut, because the people that you have on this album, it was like divine order.
100%.
That's why I said. The Mali music, that threw me. I was like, Mali music?
yeah. And his voice is just something. Like, honestly, this project is from God. And that's why I've been so confident about it, because I can feel it. Like you say, the gut instinct is my God instinct. And so I'm working towards whatever that is. You know, like I'm always saying, God, just download whatever you need to download in me so I can just execute it how you want it to be executed to your people and feel what you need them to feel. I'm just going to be the vessel, right? And so it's been great because I've had so much time to practice at the same time that when I do get in contact with some of these artists, they're like, wow, okay, cool. We can work together because you're not like down here just trying to think, you're actually doing it. And I think that's been one of the great things that I had a couple of years to sit by myself and practice in this room, you know, on this keyboard, these guitars, just by myself, just me and God, just going every day, 5, 6 songs a day, just keep going. And that was the practice. And I think that's been one of the key things with working with these artists. They've just heard where they can fit in on these records. Yeah. And I think what's been the great thing about the collaboration with everybody on it, everybody's got their thing and we just came together.
Amazing togetherness. I was going to save him for last, but let me speak on Kenyon Dixon. I love Kenyon Dixon. I love Kenyon Dixon.
I love me some Kenyon Dixon.
Yeah, he's so dope. Like, what the central like nucleus of this project is all of these people, just beautiful spirits, multi-talented, being in the
Definitely.
studio, the process, because so many writers, so many producers, so many creatives on here. When you just finished the project and said, these are the 8 I'm running with, what was that feeling for you?
Well, first of all, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist to a degree, okay? To a
Yeah.
degree. So the 8 songs kind of was like, there were different songs in there, just FYI. I was supposed to be 7 songs actually in general. And I just took it down from like 15 to 12
Yeah.
to 7. Then I was like, man, the story is not complete without the 8. And so it was more of like, just the detail of everything. Like I wanted to pull from every inspiration that I was influenced by, from the D'Angelos to the Quincy's, to just Art Jodeci's, just the R&B, the soul, the traditional, and all of that. And so I wanted to really like dive into that and make sure that these 8 songs really told a story about who Tave actually really is. And so
Yeah.
these songs really are like what I love, like music that I would listen to. And that was the goal. It's like, I want to make music that I wish I made. And so that this is what that project's about. This is about what a body of work that I can sit back and be like, oh, I wish I made that. But I'm so grateful that I did make it, So that's really detail of where that came from for sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about Kenyon. Because I loved laid back old school Chevy. I loved the visuals. How fun was that being in the old school Chevy? But
it was a dream.
Then you get Kenyon and Stacey Barth on the song. When I was listening to it one day, my brother, who was just in the car, I just was playing some music. He even said, "What's that? Who's that on the song?" He was
That's
like,
right, it
was. Yes.
Yeah.
He was like, I like that. And I just was playing some music.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Kenyon, you all's connection, because there's more. You all could do a project on your own. Like,
I mean, listen, I'm not trying to say no to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready. Like whenever Kenyon's ready, I'm ready. Like we can do like an EP together at any time. In fact, with every artist on that project, we could do a project together. Like any single, But listen, Kenyon, he's same, like, from that same church background, right? There's a level of excellence that he sings with, that he writes with, and that he's from. Like when you come from church, there's a cloth that you come from that is, you have to understand runs, you have to understand notes, you have to understand chords, you have to understand so much on a standard level before you can even get on that stage in church, right? And I think that was one of the qualities that we aligned on. Like, I'm from church, I'm a bass player, I used to play keys, I still play little keys, I play guitar, but like I'm a musician before like saying, oh, I'm the most like productive person. I play instruments, right? And so that's what we had. Like, he's such a musical artist. And so our collaboration, like I could do some chords and he would just know how to either do a run or a melody just so perfectly on it. And so we basically did like Into You song. Kenyon did that, I want to say like in 20, 30 minutes. Like Stacey was in the room, we were in the room together. If he was there, it was one of those moments that I sat back and just watched them both run in and out of the room, in the booth. He would get up so excited to go and do this part, and she would run in and get his. So the collaboration of like excellence was just there, like it's that joy, that childhood joy of doing what you love was in the room. I'm a big lover of R&B. 90s R&B, that's my bag right there. That's really cool. So, and he's from that too, even 90s church, like the Wymans, the Commissions, and all of these guys, like that's where we're from. So it's like collaborating and connecting we just had so much in common. So it was just easy.
Incredible. And I say that as just a lover of R&B and just good music, not even put it in a genre. Like, it's just good, soulful music that hits your soul. The last song, Black, I love this. IDK and another friend of the show, Music Soul Child. You know, and I said, Music got a chance to get his rapper off, you know, his rapper
Right.
side off too, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
a
yeah.
legend. He's an R&B legend.
Sure, sure.
Did you all work together before? And how did that all, I mean, adding IDK, like it's just with so many surprises on this project.
Yeah, so I mean, like I was saying, there was a couple of years that I was just creating, and just 5 a day, next song, 5 a day, next song. Like I had thousands, right, of just ideas. And some of them I would put in a bag to be like, you know what, I'm going to use this at some point. And some of them would go just out. Like I would work with other producers on them and they might press play and another artist might hear it. Like Sir, he heard one of our records that was just in that same bag, or Black, he heard the record that was in the same bag. This one, IDK heard, and he heard it, like he had it since 2021. Like he had it a while. And so like every year I was like, it's coming out, is it coming out? Is it coming out? And then like last year I was just like, yo, if it's not coming out, I'm gonna just put it out. And so I got in touch with IBK and I was like, bro, like, what's the deal? Do you want to put this out or no? Like, what's the situation? And he's like, I can't put it out right now, but if you want to put it out, you are more than welcome to. And so that's really how it came about. Like, he gave
Say
me
less.
exactly. Say less. He gave me the okay, and then I just made the plans happen from then. And I was like, you know what, this is the perfect kind of balance to have on this record because of my hip hop influence at the same time. And you can hear it just from the beat alone. It's got that 90s hip hop feel. And so the way that music was flowing on there, and just IBK had that new school kind of flow, and music had this kind of melodic rap type flow, singing. And I was just like, yo, this just works. So like, I'll actually finish it and produce it properly and get it done, and then we'll drop it. So that's what we did.
I hope that this project you all are putting in for Grammy nominations for real.
It's in there. It's in there.
Okay.
We put it in.
Okay.
We put it in for best progressive R&B. We've
Okay.
got like we've got Trinity on like traditional R&B and interviews on there for R&B songs. So we've got songs out there. Like it's just down to the voters, right, to see what they think. But I have a good feeling.
How proud of you? How proud are you of yourself though that you put this out? This is your first project. How proud are you of yourself?
You know, I'm like, once I set my mind to something, I'm gonna do it.
You should.
I would do it. And although this took 5 years to do, I had the peace and calmness because before I dedicated myself to it, I was still, and I heard the voice say, I got you. And once I heard that I got you, there was nothing that was going to stop me from getting it done. I didn't know what the end result would be, but I know that it would get done. And I had that faith and that trust, and I believed that it was a part of purpose. And so like, I just had another level of confidence that although I didn't know exactly what I was doing, I knew that it was being guided in the right light. And so once I had that moment, it was just like, okay, cool, this is the God project at the end of the day. So it's like, it's more so about standing up and being like, God is real. Like, this is what he did through me. Like, I know I could not have done or get any of these connections by myself. There's no way. No way. But once I got that confirmation, I was like, yeah, all right, well, you're true to your word. And so I'm happy for me too, but ultimately I've done what you wanted me to do. And I feel like now the start of it, the stepping stone, and I'm just looking forward to doing more work, like just getting it done. But I am proud. I'm super proud that I'm a man of my word and I got it done. That's a goal for me. So that's ultimately success for me as well. The journey is not like an end game, it's just the journey for me. So being on this journey, just hitting these goals, getting these accolades or whatever it is, just being able to not be somewhere, but know that it's being heard somewhere and that it's touching someone and doing what it's supposed to be. That's my gospel right there, So I'm excited. I'm super, super happy to be there.
This was like a therapeutic time for you though, this project, very therapeutic.
And I had therapy during it. So it was like, it was a balance again. You know, like balance is so key. I was learning so much about myself at the same time, and I feel like I'd never been vulnerable before, and I feel like I'd never really cried about certain things before, and never expressed certain things. So being able to do that in as a person, and knowing that I could do it musically, that just changed the game for me.
Yeah. So I know this. I know that there's more songs because, like you mentioned some people, the Masagos, the Sirs, the Blacks. I'm like, Fly Away too? Fly Away too? What's up?
Yeah, well, listen, I'm gonna see what God has to say. I know this. I have a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that are sitting
Yes.
on the track right now, and so I do have the bug. I did, to be honest, I didn't think I'd want to do another one. To be fair, but like I've had so much love from like artists that just reached out and just been like, "Yo, if you need anything, just let me know," and I'll be like, of course, I'm like, if we can do this, then
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. Like, you don't have to
Yeah.
tell me twice. Like, so I've already been like low key putting music together for like a couple of artists that I'm like, you know, if this works, this, you know, we do swaps basically. I'll give them
Yeah.
a song, they'll do a song for me, and we just grow together, you know. And so it's been, yeah, there's gonna be more music for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I've had the confirmation, just like as an emerging artist, and just to see the response that it's had, it just tells me that just keep going and do what you're supposed to do. You know? So
Yeah. Yeah. My last question. If someone
yeah,
who is just being introduced to you and discovering Tave today
yeah,
and they
yeah.
know Fly Away is out here, what would you tell them about this project to make them go right after they listen to this interview about this project? What's it about?
It's about honesty and vulnerability, doing what you love. Like we all have this thing, and I've got a couple of my friends. I spoke to one of them today, and he's in music, but he's just not been doing it. And it's like it eats him alive because he loves it so much. And it's like you just have to find space. Like you do have your life, and there's other things going on, but like there's a book called Atomic Habits, and it's like if you find 1%, just 1%, either way, it can go like in a bad way or a good way, but you have to make the choice, right? If you find 1% and just put it towards what you love, that means you're getting 1% closer to it. And that's what this project was for me. That's why I didn't put a timeline on it. I was just putting that 1% in every day, just 1%, 1%. So it's the flyaway is like for me, just the dude from South London, Southeast London, I should say, that just had a vision and a goal that felt like, yeah, I have a lane for myself. Like I don't have to be like that person. I don't have to be like that person. This is what's installed in me, and this is what I'm gonna execute. And so that's really what Fireway is about. It's just like evidence that like I stuck to my word and I kept that 1% going, you know. So that's really what the takeaway I think to be would take the hug that Fireway is giving you, because that's what it is, a hug from God. And then also be inspired to know that you're here for a purpose, and whatever that is that's installed in you, start doing it. Like just put 1% in. Don't put the timeline on it. Just start it, you know, and then get to where you need to get to.
Received. I'm about to play it now. You sold that to me again. You
Go
sold
ahead,
Fly
go
Away to
ahead.
me again.
Yeah, go fly away.
Yes, Fly Away. Tave, thank you so much. Bravo. Congratulations on this project. I'm so glad you stuck with your gut, you kept the faith, and you released this to the world. And I'm looking forward to more music, more
Yeah,
awards, and just more moments to let you know you're on your path and in your purpose.
thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I believe that too.
Absolutely.
So thank you. I received that for sure.
Absolutely. And I'm still coming to St. Lucia.
Hey,
Don't count me out. Don't count me
pull up,
out.
pull up.
Okay?
Hey, listen, you may hear like a few live versions or a few acoustic versions coming out soon too. So look out for that. There's
Yes.
definitely stuff in the works.
Absolutely. Everybody, please check out Tave, Tave, this amazing project, Fly Away. There's more to come. Please follow
Yeah,
him on all social platforms. We got to
we'll be
support
there.
him on all the DSPs. We got to
Yes.
support music like this good music. Thank you so much for being on the Hybrid Soul with Kelly Kinkaid, your destination for music and culture discovery. Until next time.